Why is Kyle Larson entering the Chili Bowl after having strong comments against what the Chili Bowl has been going through the last few years? The NASCAR Xfinity Series silly season got a little bit clearer after a ride got announced today. Rowdy Energy is closing its doors, and the reason is not what you think. It could be life-threatening. I'm not joking. You're going to want to check this one out. And the NASCAR Netflix series finally gets a release date and some new details. We'll break it all down today on Shifting Gears.
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah!
What's the caution for? Mate?
Can I not push it in?
Stop anybody.
Come on, you guys! Way to go, boys! One hell of a job, man, one hell of a job. Thank you so much.
I'm Alan Bailey, and before you reach for a can of Rowdy Energy, you're going to want to make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss an episode in 2024. And you can also go ahead and check out our second gaming and esport channel, Team Chaos, where we're doing a lot of cool stuff, including the NASCAR 24 career playthrough with iRacing's AI. It is so much fun. It is getting very interesting and highly dramatic, especially the last episode, so you're going to want to check it out. And in between episodes, you can go ahead and log on to arnrace.com to keep up on the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Lots to get to on a Wednesday edition of Shifting Gears here, and there's some juicy details in today's episode. Let's get to it. It's hard to believe, but we are only 25 days away from the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum. If you don't have your tickets, log on to laclash.com in order to get those now, or NASCAR.com, because it is going to be intense. I suspect they're going to sell out. And with a doubleheader race with the NASCAR Mexico Series and the Clash that same Sunday, you'll definitely want to go to this one, especially if you're in the Southern California area. So this kind of shocked the world yesterday, and it definitely caught me off guard. Kyle Larson announced that he is going to be running the 2024 Chili Bowl this year. Interesting, because he's won it before. He's a two-time champ, admittingly, but honestly, it's weird. He didn't run it last year, and the reason behind it was the payout. He was very candid with his comments, saying that he didn't believe that the Chili Bowl paid enough and that it was as big of an event as it had been in the past. And he responded by essentially creating his own dirt series that did pay, actually, really, really good payouts for the dirt racers. Larson is not the only NASCAR star that's going to be racing in the Chili Bowl this weekend. You have Chase Briscoe, J.J. Yaley, Josh Bilicki, and RCR's new Xfinity Series driver Jesse Love, all competing with Larson to try to make the main and win the Chili Bowl in 2024. It's going to be an interesting showcase. I think it's fascinating that Larson decided, I'm going to go ahead and run that thing. I think it's got to be sponsor-driven. I don't know. It's very odd that he's decided to go ahead and do this. Tomorrow's the prelims, and we'll go ahead and see if he can make the main. I suspect he's going to be a threat to win it, but time will tell. This is kind of a shocker, actually. Sam Hunt Racing announced that Corey Heim, the 2023 NASCAR Craftsmanship Series regular series champ, is going to be driving the number 26 Toyota for multiple races in 2024 with Sam Hunt Racing. This is fascinating to me because we already know that he's running the full truck series schedule, and the fact that Sam Hunt is going to a partial schedule, and not really a partial schedule, but a driver rotation of different drivers in their car is fascinating to me. I honestly thought they were going to be a serious contender to make the postseason with whomever they decided to put in that thing full time. But we did find out that Heim's going to be taking over the car for the March 2nd Las Vegas race, but other than that, we don't really have a definite count of which races he will be in the car. I just think it's interesting, honestly, that Toyota's decided to put him in this car. Joe Gibbs Racing is right there, and they have a very, 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 very long list of part-time drivers. You would think that Heim somehow would fit into that, but I think Toyota is moving away from Joe Gibbs Racing as their primary development team and their primary place to send their drivers. Now with Legacy and with 2311 in the Cup Series, I think that Joe Gibbs is not really going to be getting 100% of the Toyota love, and that support's going to start backing down here soon, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time before Joe Gibbs starts to go downhill, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We also found out today that Rowdy Energy will be closing its doors and ceasing operations within the coming weeks. This one's not what you think. A lot of people thought it was due to lack of sales, and you could see Rowdy Energy wasn't on the RCR cars in 2023. Kyle Busch himself wasn't seen holding the Rowdy Energy cans as much in 2023. I very much saw this coming when he sold Kyle Busch Motorsports and its assets for the Truck Series. It's just fascinating. Kyle Busch put out a candid statement. I'll go ahead and pop that on the screen right there. You can go ahead and pause this and read this whole thing if you want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to read this last part. But unfortunately, I'm here to say that Rowdy Energy will be ceasing operations and closing its doors in the coming weeks. Like many new consumer brands, the headwinds have proven too strong, and it makes more sense to end the journey so that I can remain focused on my family and my racing career. While the news is sad to announce, I will always appreciate what I learned along the way. It was a fun ride and only fueled my passion for better for you energy drinks. That last part right there, better for you. Yeah, Kyle Busch wants to create something that's better for you and me. But unfortunately, a report came out in December that showed Rowdy Energy was not good for you. I'll go ahead and pop that on screen right now for you. A San Diego-based research group actually put this out, having conducted tests on Rowdy Energy, and apparently, at least according to this report, quote, the product that are subject of this notice and the chemicals in those products identify as exceeding allowable amounted levels. Now, the thing that I want to point out is that it's not that Rowdy Energy contained these chemicals, but the fact that it exceeded the allowable levels is a little bit to me. Yes, we can go ahead and break down why the U.S. government allows lead and mercury into our food and beverages, but we're not that show. I'm going to go ahead and just put that out there. But the fact that Rowdy Energy contained an alarming amount of lead and mercury to the point where the government, who normally sees that in energy drinks, it goes, it's fine, should be alarming. It sounds to me an awful lot like Kyle Busch decided, you know what, I don't want to fight this battle. I don't want to admit that I poisoned my race fans, so I'm just going to go ahead and close the company. That's kind of what it sounds like happened here. It's a heck of a good way to avoid multiple lawsuits, and I mean no disrespect or slander towards Rowdy Energy or Kyle Busch. I'm sure they went in with the strongest intent of creating a healthy product, but he didn't. He really didn't. I feel bad, man. This is not a good situation. I made the comment on social media last night that I personally have never seen one in stores, ever. I looked for a very long time. I went on their websites and tried to find it locally in Southern California, and I was never able to. I know a lot of you have said, yeah, I found it in stores, and yeah, I've had it a few times. I've never tried the product outside the racetrack, ever. So I'm solely convinced that it was never really given the best foot forward by the distributors, because I never saw them. And if I'm somebody who's actively going out and looking for this product and I am unable to find it, well, doesn't really say much for the casual fan or to the rest of the consumers who are casually going to find it. So RIP Rowdy Energy. And finally, we got some big news. The NASCAR Netflix series is officially going to be releasing on January 30th, right before the season starts, which is exactly what they do with F1. I'm super duper excited with this one. The series is going to be called NASCAR Full Speed, with 5 episodes being about 45 minutes each. And the listed featured drivers are Blaney, Byron, Chastain, Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Larson, Bell, Logano, and Tyler Reddick. And yes, there will be other drivers, obviously, in the series. They followed basically all these teams and drivers through the 2023 season. I personally bumped into the cameras and boom mics for this series multiple times when I was out at Vegas and especially out in Phoenix. So honestly, I'm excited to see what this series will produce. I know for a fact I was in at least a couple shots, so I might be a Netflix star. That's alarming to me. Ugh. They'll put anything on Netflix these days, apparently, but I'm really excited. F1 Drive to Survive was huge for growing F1 in the United States and showcasing the personalities of it, and I think that this series is going to do exactly that. You look at it, you had that god-awful Kevin James series that just didn't do anything good for NASCAR that they wanted it to do. And then you had, obviously, the Bubba Wallace documentary on Netflix that did wonders for Bubba's career and his popularity with non-NASCAR fans. So I do think that this is a brilliant move. I think that this is something that should have been done years ago, but NASCAR finally was able to get a deal done with Netflix. Netflix was able to get the deal done, and finally we're going to see the end product, and I'm really excited. Nobody bug me on January 30th because that's when all 5 episodes will be dropping. I'm super excited for this one. So now we're coming to the end of the show, which is where we're going to open up the comments from the comment section below from you guys, kind of a mailbag thing that we're going to do at every episode, at the end of every episode through 2024. So let's go ahead and open them on up, starting with this comment from Alex Coke 0400 Fan 82. I'm actually surprised to hear that the IROC series is coming back. It would actually be a surprise if they ran super speedways again like they used to and run other racetracks. Alex, I 100% agree with you. I think that IROC coming back was kind of a surprise, especially with SRX, especially from Ray Evernham. But at the same time, the IROC series ran, I want to say it was like 5 to 10 races per year, and they ran kind of in junction with NASCAR or in connection with them as kind of another race on those NASCAR weekends. And they would race at tracks like Michigan. They raced at Daytona, Talladega a couple times, I want to say. And it was kind of a really good mixture of racetracks, and I would love to see that again. I'd love to see them on super speedways again. I think that, like I commented in the comments down below on that one, I do think that they need to get hooked up with NASCAR and or IndyCar to run companion weekends with them, so that way you already have people at the track, you already have the drivers at the track, and that it'll be easier to put on these events as kind of an add-on to an IndyCar weekend or a NASCAR weekend. Milepost 947. Remember, NASCAR isn't actually spending money on this per se. They've sold a majority of the site for a massive amount of money, $559 million to be exact. I doubt that they will spend near that much on a new track, assuming it gets built at all. NASCAR is walking away with a large amount of cash, but that is their right. It's their land. They can do with it as they want. It is a massive asset to only use one weekend a year. Hard to make money that way. My belief is that they will ultimately say, quote, can't make it work despite all of our efforts, unquote, and that they will sell the remaining land. If they go this way, my guess is they will be announcing it right before a Daytona 500 weekend, so the news is washed out by those events. I really hope I'm wrong. I truly do. Now, if you're unaware, what they are talking about, I should say right there, is the Auto Club Speedway or the California Speedway or the Fontana racetrack redesign. Remember, Auto Club naming rights went away literally 2 days after the final race in 2023. Honestly, most of that money that they made off that land was used to pay down debt, and what little was left of it was actually used for the Chicago street race in 2023. NASCAR lost a lot of money on that, but they said it was absolutely worth it because they loved what they saw out there, if only the weather cooperated. But going back to the track in Fontana, I do think that they are going to do it because here's the thing. They could have sold all of that land in one shot and gotten nearly double what they got for it, from what I understand. NASCAR wouldn't have sold all but just that little parcel of land if they didn't intend to have a racetrack out there, because they are still paying taxes. They had to pay taxes in 2023, and they will in 2024 for owning that land. If I'm NASCAR and my intention is not to build a racetrack out there, why on earth would I literally spend millions of dollars on this land only to not use it? It doesn't make sense. If this was purely a business decision, NASCAR would have sold everything last year and walked away from Fontana, California. They're not doing that. They're investing more money into research development, iRacing models, land surveys, etc., which are happening in 2024 to get that land right and to get that project right. I absolutely love the fact that NASCAR is taking their time with this. I love the fact that they are doing so much research and development because it means ultimately they're not rushing this. They are committed to Southern California. They're committed to Fontana, and they want to produce and have the best product possible. Now, maybe that will change. Maybe there is no way to have a successful accurate, good half-mile track in Fontana with the land that's currently available. Or maybe it is too expensive. I don't know. But everything that I'm hearing from NASCAR is that they are trying and they are putting resources into this. But there are bigger and also more pressing projects that NASCAR is working on with their team right now. So I do suspect we will hear something within the next few months from NASCAR on this. But then again, we're going to have to wait and see what NASCAR's research yields. Chris D. Lap 3048 commented, will NASCAR 2025 be on PS4 and PS5 and older gen consoles? Really, the most simplistic answer is I don't know, because the game is still being developed. It honestly boils down to what will iRacing focus on. I tend to believe that they will be on the new gens, that being the PS5 and the newest Xbox series. But at the same time, I do think that they do want to have something for fans who have older consoles as well. It honestly just depends on how quickly this game gets developed. I haven't heard one way or another, but I would imagine that it would be ported over to the older generations, and in particularly the Switch or the Switch 2 whenever that gets announced. But we're going to have to wait and see. It's a little too early in the development process because the game build itself needs to get developed, and then it needs to be ported out and built up for all of the systems individually. So I don't know is the short answer, but I would suspect that they're going to try to get it out on as many consoles as humanly possible. But I always want to hear from you. Leave it in the comments down below. Any question, any comment, any thought that you have regarding anything in the NASCAR world, you can leave it in the comments down below. And while you're there, you can go ahead and make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video. And you can check out our second gaming and esport channel, Team Chaos. The link is in the description below. And as always, you can log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.